She found a way into my heart. Oh, she don't make up, no, she make art. And I need a way to treat it, cause I keep getting high off of her. Off of her. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you. Back to long nights can get me feeling lonely. Hey. And hearing music that can make me smile. But the way I feel with her cannot be explained.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wolves Esports. This is the Grid Close Qualifier. After 2 days, we've seen Digital Bacon and In-C Things commentate Wolves fabulously destroy the entire bracket, and yet we are here to do battle once more again. Our grievance, shall we say, will be against the French in the form of Solary, and if they do win, a very famous football team, maybe too famous, that we cannot avoid. It is FC Barcelona. But before we break everything down tonight, Aidan, how are you?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to today. We've had a day off and a lot of time to think about what happened in the Open qualifier. And Wolves in good form. Of course, it was worrying when they dropped the first round on Tuesday, but then they swept all the way through the lower bracket, and expecting them to keep that momentum today.
Sounds quite good. Now, before we break it down, of course, on Tuesday, the qualification road was quite bumpy. Our first match didn't go quite to plan. We lost it, and I remember speaking to Rex Ronde, funny enough, our captain. He says, if we want to win, we will win. And they went 7 series on the bounce there. Is there any particular moments there that you sort of looked at and thought, this team can do it?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you can see the quality that they have when they're on their game. And the amount of times that we said that Oli was out of form and then he would prove us wrong by going and scoring a plethora of goals. They're starting to work better and better as a team. And we saw like a lot of holes in the defense at times. And I think round 1, you said it was a bit bumpy at the start. I felt they just hadn't really switched on yet. And as that time went on in that lower bracket, you could see that their defense started improving. They were conceding less goals. And they definitely have the potential to, upset a lot of teams here today.
That sounds pretty good as well. And anybody hasn't seen the Twitter, of course, at Wolves Esports, they had made a highlight package of all the great things there. Yourself and Digital Bacon, the voices there, calling the goals as they rolled on in. With that said, though, today, if anybody doesn't know the format, it is double elimination. Think of like the FA Cup, but 2 chances to qualify, 6 teams in total. But we only have to worry about a very small bracket side of things. And I'm not going to talk about our first match coming just yet. That's about 8 minutes away. We do have the likes of FC Barcelona, and we were slightly in the break here before anything else was going in here, Ian. We looked at that roster and we thought, oh, that could be dangerous, and a former teammate, a former Ricks as well.
Yeah, no, Barcelona, of course, their old roster that if you've been following RLCS or the grid in the last split, is obviously a completely different roster now. And they picked up Taz and Blurry from a team called Nameseekers. And Rizex, of course, was a former teammate of Rix Ronde, our captain, at Libertas. So they'll know each other very well, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talking that they want to do on the field if they do come up against each other in round 2.
Well, it should be pretty good as well. And you talk about that Libertas roster that is Rex Ronde's heritage, shall we say. 2 times Gfinity champion. The man doesn't stop winning at times. That's how good he can be. It was a turbulent, somewhat tournament to say, but he won the qualifier to get the honour to play in. It was only 1 spot at time. He's got effectively 2 chances tonight. And when you look at sort of that Barcelona roster, which we could eventually play, dangerous as well. But potentially, depending how things could happen as well, Dignitas, Redemption, Trainhard Esports, and Minx, keep an eye on them. If we lose our opening game, those teams might come into play here. And Dignitas is probably the biggest name in the esports history, at least into Rocket League's former world champions. However, this lineup only containing 1 of the 3 Magic players who won that mighty title back in the day.
And of course, Violent Panda still sticking around for Dignitas. And of course, they're having a bit of a rocky time at the moment. I think it's sort of a transition period. They're a huge team, and I'm sure they have clear goals set out on how they want to get back to the top. You know, with players like Jorius, we know what he's capable of, but he's had a hard time getting into the swing of things at Dignitas, not playing up to his standard, I'd say. And then they've also got the acquisition of apparently Jack, who's, he's also still finding his way into the team. And of course, the last time Wolves came up against Dignitas, Wolves took the series 3-1. So if we do come up against Dignitas in a lower bracket, then I would assume that Dignitas are looking for a little bit of revenge. So it's definitely something we want to look out for. You know, if we lose, to pay attention to where Dignitas is going as we come up against the bracket. That could be a bit of a grudge match.
Oh, I do love a good grudge match. And, well, let's just say I casted plenty of Dignitas matches, and let's just say I wasn't quite kind to them. One of their players aren't speaking to me anymore, so let's hope maybe history might falter them again here. But we haven't spoken about our French team in waiting, in the wings. 5 minutes, of course. I think it'd be fair to break them down. Sorry, a French side known for their quick dominance. However, they made a roster change in. Is it for an improvement? It was Yukis, the former Baguette squad, was in the rival series, think like the Premiership. This was the Championship team, wasn't as to the same standard, but they made it into the man from Germany, Tox. Is this a good change for him?
I think picking up Tox is quite a huge acquisition actually for Solary. You know, coming from Giants, and we saw what Giants were doing in the last split. Very, very strong team. And to then, you know, with Tox on the roster. And to be honest, I was quite surprised when Tox did make that move to Solary. I think this is a huge pickup for them, and I think alongside Kieran Exotic, they're actually very capable of surprising us today. Now, you know, on paper, I would like to, you know, believe that Wolves are the stronger team here today in round 1, but at this level of play, it's always hard to call, and I wouldn't want to make any predictions because, well, I think we were talking about earlier, Danny, that sometimes when we make predictions, it tends to go the other way. So I think I might just stay a little bit quiet about this one.
Last time I had an accurate prediction was against Team Liquid, probably the biggest organization within esports history. Didn't go quite well for them, and, well, let's just say that's a time maybe for a podcast perhaps in the future. Before we even sort of transfixed ourselves as well, Digital Bacon was casting on Tuesday, and you said one line I was actually going to ask you about. Ollie wasn't scoring enough goals. Is that accurate?
Well, you know, we kept noticing that every time we called Oli out for not being in form and not playing well enough, he would go and score some bangers. And I think it started in one game where Digital Bacon said, oh, well, Oli's not really in form and he needs to find it. And as soon as he said that, Oli scored a goal. So it was kind of like the opposite of the curse of the commentator. And then went on to score 5 goals in that one single game. So I think if we keep that up today and we keep, you know, knocking on Oli and saying he needs to pick it up, he's not playing well enough, he'll keep scoring the goals. So maybe a little bit of that reverse psychology coming into play for Wolves, and maybe that's the little trick, a little bit of magic that we've got up our sleeves.
Sounds pretty good. The trick, sort of the wonderful bit that Ollie can possess into it. He was formerly part of Barrage. Top 6 team side, clearly a talent in the wings, and Rex Ronde quite clearly has an eye for talent. Of course, 2 times Gfinity winner. Has it in spades. He knows what he wants and gets what he wants. There was a particular pass in question I saw and I thought that was world class. Unfortunately, Tux isn't world class on Forza Solid. We are roughly 2 minutes away, so if you are going to get refreshments, it is the time to do it now before we get started. So I did say we're not going to do predictions, but S2V or Barca, who would you rather face though?
I mean, I think that Wolves should be able to handle both those sides. I would feel confident with both. Preferably, I would have FC Barcelona, and not just because of the little bit of maybe rivalry on the field between Rizex and Rix Ronde, but I do think that FC Barcelona is not nearly as strong as they were in the past, and I think that this is a team which Wolves would like to play against, and I feel that they would be the stronger team there. S2V, of course, you know, they're also a strong team. I think on paper, maybe not as strong as FC Barcelona, but I would still prefer to have Barcelona in the round 2. And also, of course, we add on to the fact that it's also a well-known football team, and Wolves a well-known football team. It would be sort of like a match made in heaven.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as heaven now. We maybe about torture and sweat, maybe a bit involved here, but thankfully we're only here to commentate the games. The players on the pitch will do the talking, and just to do a bit of housekeeping as well. The first match is a best of 5. If you lose that one, still is until round 2 when it gets a little bit tougher. Best of 7, so we have to win 4 individual games, and of course, with that said and done, we move on, hopefully qualify in 2 games. Rix Ronde might just actually fancy losing the opening game just to give everybody more stream time, and you know what, if he wins them, I don't blame him.
Indeed. No, I'm getting a little anxious now, waiting for the game to start. Now, I don't know, you know, given yesterday, the first round that we played was a little bit dicey against White Demons, and I think this was a team that we expected to beat. We got 3-0'd by them, and I've got the feeling that, you know, Wolves clearly love a lower bracket run, but I think today it's not something we'd want to hope for. You know, we would hope that we get out strong, get the momentum early, go into the second round, and, well, just take that as well so that we don't have that sort of pain in the heart watching, knowing that at any given moment we could be dropped out of the qualifiers. And if they get started the way they ended yesterday, on Tuesday, I mean, in my head, there's no doubt that Wolves will take round 1. But if they get started the way they started on Tuesday, it's going to be a very stressful day.
Well, hopefully everybody is prepared, because Rix Ronde does not make life simple. He wants to show, he wants to impress, he wants to do everything right, of course, and Juicy as coach made sure of it. He was even coaching him in front of us. He wanted to make sure everything was prepared, everything was up basically to the player's performance, and we have all confidence in them, of course. Solary, of course, we are waiting for them to actually join the lobby. It's typical from Solary. They actually made Team Liquid wait 9 weeks in a row because they didn't know how to join the lobby, which is shameful for professional players.
I mean, there's a lot of questionable things that happen in that little RL Pro bubble, and you know, whether it's the ability to join games or sort of attitude on Twitter, I feel we haven't quite gotten to that level which you would have in like professional football, where you have agents and PR sort of managing what players say. Now it's, you know, it's not quite on that professional level. But it's getting better with time. We do see that the quality of not just productions like on our stream, but the tournaments, the way that they're run, the way that players are handled is slowly improving as, of course, you know, it grows into something bigger than it has been before. Of course, Rocket League's only been around for 5 years, and it sounds like a long time, but if you compare it to some of the other big esports like Dota, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, they've obviously been refining those for a very long time, and they have huge pro scenes and esports events around it. Rocket League has been doing that for a much shorter time. So, but now we're getting to this point where the prize pools are increasing, professionalism is increasing, and it's something that we love to see, but of course there's a few hiccups along the way.
Well, hopefully no hiccups tonight, and of course the main event, if it works out perfect, there will be 8 broadcasts here at Wolves Esports. If you are interested, don't forget to follow here, and maybe even subscribe on the YouTube as well too, because it's a different format if they make it into the main event. Somewhat like a Champions League, a small round robin, and the slight difference is single elimination to crown a champion, and they do it 4 times in total, and the overall winners and a chance, of course, potentially even get into the World Championships. But that's a conversation for another time with all the information. And from my little eye here, I don't know if I'm wrong to say in here, I think Solry has actually joined the party, and we might be moments away actually starting this match.
Yeah, no, I also seeing in the chat between the players saying that it looks like really soon is really soon. I think that we're ready to go. I think that maybe Rick's Ronde just went for a quick bathroom break. Maybe it's that little bit of nerves setting in. Just got to take a quick breather, come back to the game. But I think we'll be underway in just a minute. In fact, I think we're joining the game now for game number 1.
Well, after all the build-up, all the wait here, we had to wait over 24 hours to find out, is Wolves Esports going to qualify through the uppers, or the remaining 2 spots? Well, that's hopefully the backup plan. Solary will be in the blue, Wolves in their typical strip of orange. A best of 5 begins now.
Well, we are underway for game number 1 of this best of 5, and it's Wolves right out of the gate from the kickoff to try and get some control on this ball as they play it back to Lewis P, but he's caught under pressure by Kyrian. Only there on the backboard. Good defending by him. He's going to keep this one close, going for the 50 on Exotic. He's got Rix alongside him, probably looking to shoot, but it's a little wide of the mark, and Tox now is going to deal with that to try and air dribble it away from his half, but blocked by Lewis P in the midfield. But good control by Exotic to keep the play alive for Solary. Rix getting caught in possession by Kerrian, who sets it up for Exotic to go for the shot, blocked by Lewis P. And the first real chance of the game coming for Solary.
Those typical friends say, know them far too well. Of course, they like to play with flair, attack right down the line. This time they've actually gone to the heart. They saw, as you said, Rex Ronde lose a bit of possession, a bit of play, but here's the captain, of course, infield pass right over the Ole, and one vital mistake there, but that may be just a warning shot. The opening goal still yet to be scored. Rex Ronde, good demo. Lewis P there, just jumping and Rix onto the backboard. Could be a stacking opportunity. That's where a couple of players could happily develop into phases. And the opening 90 seconds, stable by both sides to be for early nerves, of course.
Yeah, those game 1 nerves just taking time to figure each other out, and sometimes the risk taking is kept to a minimum in game 1. Don't want to give too much away either in terms of your strategy in game 1. You want to slowly ease into it, but now a chance, Kerrian popping that one to the crossbar. Lewis P is going to clear it wide, but straight into the path of Exotic, which is running now clearing from the backboard. A little bit of an onslaught coming now from Solary. The demo on Oli. That's going to the corner. Kerrian's there with the shot, but it goes all the way over to the right side where Oli was waiting. A bit of an easy save in, but Exotic getting the fake out the flick. Lewis P, the last man on the line, will keep it at 0-0. Looking dangerous though from Solary. Very composed in front of net. Looking to take their time, keep that ball close, and build the pressure on Wolves.
Rex Ronde, he just found an infield pass directly, and Lewis P hopefully getting the spell Ollie there. Rex on the opposite side, small, delicate, little touch right for the backboard. One mistake by Tux. And I know for my entire career as a commentator, been mocking his statement. He is a world champion in his eyes. Doubtful on that as Lewis P looks to remove him completely, and Rex Ronde, well, says goodbye to him, and one big net, one big goal, and a captain, as you said before, leads by example.
Well, this is the classic thing of Oli being out of form as it sets it up for Rix Ronde in the end. And, well, you know Rix Ronde is always going to be hanging around the goal when his teammates taking a shot. He is the resident goal stealer, but there he was the resident goal securer. Don't know if that's very good English, but we'll roll with it. But a quick shot coming from Kerrian. Rix Ronde there just getting the save. That would have been painful for Wolves, just working so hard to get in the lead, and then one coming straight back, but they do manage to deal with it. That's going to go up high into the midfield where Tox deals at Kerrian, putting it back infield, but no one there from Solary. Only getting caught in possession. Could be difficult for Rix Ronde as he misses this one. He shot for Exotic, and he would have wished he got a little bit more on that, because that was a dangerous opportunity for Solary to make it level.
You talk about danger, but calm heads usually prevail. Rex Ronde has been in the scene for 5+ years, and he knows these situations far too well. And Lewis P, the Spanish man, knows how to block, and suddenly Wolves on a quick little counter. Chucks trying to force the opposition in the form of Wolves here to make a few problematic decisions here. They've dealt with it beautifully. That opening goal playing promising. And All Eight taking the boost there, just trying to secure and force their opposition to be much more sluggish to these balls.
Lewis P temporarily turning his car into a brick wall as he was at that last man on the line, did ever so well. Somehow it's still 1-0 for Wolves, and now we're getting a bit of pressure down the other side. Lewis P just losing out on that 50. Tox isn't going to get to it though. He's got a bit of time, and when you give this man time, he is very dangerous. He pops into the corner himself, comes in the middle, Rick Tronday's there, and Wolves will make it 2-0, doubling their lead with just 1 minute on the clock. Could that be the nail in the coffin for game one?
Yes.
No doubt about that one, Danny.
Absolutely not. There's no doubt in it, and the French will be holding a slight few white flags to surrender in at least game number one. And do you know what? Long may it continue as carry on, just trying to move that across pitch and Tox once more. Usually for the German sides, they know how to defend. This one doesn't.
Well, talking about the white flags, I don't think Soli want to give up just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised those white flags start coming out of game two. Looks similar to game one here. Lewis P playing it away from his net. Tox is out there. Solari still looking for some consolation as they try to get on the attack. Exotic will get that ball over Rick's Ron. They lose, taking it to the ceiling. Will keep it wide away from that danger zone. Always the number one rule, to get that ball wide, take it away from the middle. Tox is there though. Great save from Oli. Wolves' defense today is looking on point as they're getting in the way of a lot of dangerous looking attacks, a lot of dangerous shots on net, and they're keeping a clean sheet with just 3 seconds left on the clock. Tox will play infield for Exotic. That's going to go to the backboard. Oli's going to knock it down, and that's game one for Wolves.
Fabulous. We had doubts to an extent how well would Wolves play. Not in the case of they not capable of winning the first series, but that opening day there was a question mark. Will they make the same mistake again? Yet I'm comfortable, and that's very unusual for me to say. This Wolves here looks dangerous enough. 3-0, maybe not so much. 3-1 here after that. Well, let's see if Rick's Day can get the other two on the other side of the goal scorer.
Well, it was a long day on Tuesday, and I was not feeling confident after round one, and then we had a couple of shaky games in round 2 and 3, but as the time went on, they looked stronger and stronger, and while it seems they've carried that momentum here against Solari, and it's not taken them long to find a goal here. Lewis P showing just why he is so good as he gets it past Tox and Kerrion, and then slips it under Exotic to then put it in the back of the net for the 1-0. Wolves taking the lead with just 8 seconds played.
I feel slightly bad for Solari. I might just knock a goal in for myself because they're incapable of scoring at the moment, and Kerrion wants to remove that image problem. As Lewis P, decent block, Exotic, shot off the post. And decent here, trying to keep it to the wings, of course, a bit more difficult. The angle too far, the tight in, and Tox struggling here. Rick's perfect, wonderful stop and Ollie anywhere. Really to the backboard, midfield would have been perfect. But the realisation there, good awareness here, and Gio Watts here, and Wolves Esports there just letting their opposition have going. It's almost like they're a sponge at the moment.
It's interesting to see because we're used to seeing Wolves push up so high and take risks to get all 3 players high into the opposition side of the field and look to keep the pressure on. Right now they do so as Rick's Ronde will tap it down. Oli here playing it up to himself. Fantastic pass, and Ricks with an incredible reaction to get up and slap that one down to make it 2-0.
Glad I'm no longer in the competitive scene. That shot too perfect, too well. And Super Rixie showing why everybody in the scene chants his name with the vigour, and Tox is trying to wiggle his way past the stone wall defensive orange. Ollie straight across. And Tox once more hopeful to see that ball going back into the middle here. The French trying to find a couple of connections, a few passes here. And Lewis P tucks it into the corner. Perfect play from the man in orange.
I want to be interested to know what Juicy has been telling these boys before today, following Monday and Tuesday, because they look a slightly different team. I'm not even slightly, they look like a completely different team. The way that they're now able to sit back, deal with pressure, and then find a calculated way to move forward, catch teams on the break, on the counter, moving very quickly out of their own half. And it's something that in the time I've been casting for Wolves, that I have haven't really seen them be comfortable at the back. And now, you know, they've still got a clean sheet here in game 2, kept it in game 1, and now 2-0 up, 2 minutes played, and they're looking very strong.
Oh, strong. Might even just be an understatement at the moment. Very few teams can pull these types of performance out in a crucial day. To go into the main event for qualification in the grids, to take down the top 10 teams in Europe. Wolves would like to join them. They're good enough and they have been proving it time and time again. Top 8 in the regional event. And Lewis P once more flip right over. Bye, carry on. It's good night.
Oh, that was a work of art by Luis as he just gets it past Exotic, flips it back up, and Kerry, and all he could do was watch. He had no idea what Luis had up his sleeve. Well, now it's 3-0 for Wolves, and they're getting more and more comfortable as time goes on. I thought game 2 will be different, and Solary will adapt to Wolves' play, but it looks like Wolves have only gotten better as the series has continued. Exotic will get it over Lewis P. Could be dangerous, but Rick's Ronde recovering just in time to get that one wide. And that clean sheet's looking to stay.
Lewis P just moving around here. Ollie, what a fabulous save that's coming around here, and everybody joining in. The audience quite literally enjoying Wolves having pure domination. We don't see the major stats, of course, bar the one on the scoreboard. 3-0, 1-0 series, of course, 2 if they hold on. And all out to see Lewis P. Perfect pass. We've seen these killer blows being delivered just yet. We want to see one more from Wolves in this game.
Well, if they can keep extending that lead, it will send a message to Solary as they go up onto match point and into game 3. And Solary definitely feeling the heat now. The probably hands are getting a little sweaty and weight on their shoulders ever increasing. Oli just about getting away from Kerrion, and every time you think that Solary have got a chance coming, every time there's a goal forming, it just getting denied by that valiant defending by Wolves. And they're looking very much in sync with each other as well. The spacing looking good. There's a few double commits coming out in day 1 and 2 of the open qualifiers, but here in the closed qualifier, they're looking very, very tight-knit.
Exotic just moves down here. This is a stack, as I prefer to call it, when the backboard is truly wide open for the options, and Ollie sets themselves up. Lewis P will have a go. These options here, they're giving each other 1 or 2 particular worries here for Solary. Rick's had a go at that. Lewis P could have had a go at it. And Solary almost look bewildered. They look like a child lost in a supermarket. It's just the only problem. Where's mummy?
Still watching Wolves here. We see them rotating all the way back to the halfway line. Whereas during the open qualifiers, there was a lot of half rotation, which means they rotate a lot earlier. And a chance there for Exotic for the consolation goal. Lewis P will deny the rebound shot. And those rotations, as I was saying, on the halfway line is just giving them that sort of composure in defense, as there's always 1 or 2 people back. In fact, a lot of the time they got 2 people back and 1 trying to set up the attack, and they're just looking so much more solid. They're dominating the field, they're owning the boost, and Solary just having a hard time to find time on the ball.
You've just described everything perfectly well in that series. It's just, I feel bad for Solary at the moment here. I know I'm meant to be that commentator cheering on Wolves, but they're already dead in. Surely they would have a bit of sympathy and just only score 1 goal and, let them, walk away with a bit of dignity at this point. 3-0 thrashing in game 2 and 2-0 in the opening game here. This is a Wolves Esports we've yet to see, and you know what, there's still gears to go.
Well, feel bad for Solary, but definitely also feel bad for Tox just making that move over to Solary, and now feeling a bit of a burn, I'm sure, wondering where he would be at if he was still with Giants. Of course, moving into game 3 on match point, and that should be comfortable, knowing that you're 2 games up in the series. You haven't conceded a single goal. And I'm going to say something that we hate to hear, but reverse sweeps are very common in Rocket League, and Wolves cannot afford to drop their focus, to drop the intensity. They need to keep going here in game 3. They can't allow Solary to start asking questions, because when that happens and you're on match point, the pressure starts to come very quickly because you're expected to just finish the series. You want it done. You want to get that first series win out of the way. And winning here in Game 3 is really going to set the tone for things as they move on to round 2.
Just keeping an eye on chat, and great to see all the Wolves supporter out. Doug Moriarty, funny enough, manager of Rick's Ronde. So saying, Ian, why did you have to mention? Why did you have to put that thought in our minds? Unfortunately, reality might hit us hard. We have to prepare for every outcome here. And Lewis P, or the Rick's not happening, harbored another outcome. One mistake there and Kirian would have been gone.
Look, guys, if you were tuning into us in the open qualifiers, you would have known that everything we do talk about tends to go the other way. We call Oli out of form, he scores 5 goals in one game. I talk about reverse sweep, I expect the clean sweep now. I'm just setting it up. We're weaving the magic here. And Oli will play that up downfield. He's going to follow it himself. Lewis P with him in support. Exotic there, forcing to making that save. Kerrion will play it long. Lewis P gonna make sure he doesn't get caught out there, but it's a good touch wide. Oli getting caught up with Kerrion there. It's going to come back into the middle. Rick's on a good pressure on Exotic. Oli there as well. And Wolves getting forward very, very quickly. And Oli with something spectacular from the back one. He gets the double tap and he makes it 1-0. But look at the pressure, the speed that Wolves broke forward. Solary were just not ready.
They weren't. This French side is just looking at Oli caress the ball, kisses with a gentle touch there and whispers away Solar's hopes and dreams at the moment. And Rick's Ronde will be a heartbreaker. France will be flooded with tears, and Wolves will be hopefully marching on with this onslaught on display.
Well, Wolves not taking long at all to double their lead, capitalising on the first goal already. 2-0 for Wolves. Rick's Ronde, the captain, wanting to put this to bed as soon as possible. And the pressure coming directly straight again from Wolves. Lewis P there, trying to play mind games with Kerrion, getting that block over, but it will come down the other way into the Wolves half. Comes all the way across the net, but Tox can't get there in time. And yet again, Solary unable to find the target. And seemingly, Solary's big problem at the moment is Kerrion also whiffing in front of his own there. Oli just can't get it over Tox. But they keep coming, the Wolves. They're looking to keep extending this lead. 2 goals are definitely not enough. They want as big of a cushion as they can get. Only now looking for another double. And it's a fantastic finish to get it past 2. This man is on fire, but he's not in form.
Well, there'll be a few critics in chat on that one with Aidan's comment, but chat, feel free to get involved. I want to hear your voices, your opinions, as our team seems to be on the verge once again of moving that round 2. Best of 70 to get that far ahead. Potentially Barcelona will wait, and Tox might have an idea. Even the crossbar rejects some cruelty on the pitch tonight.
Well, they are being denied in every way possible, Solary, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get another goalless game for themselves. Wolves 3-0 up, half the game remaining still. It's not over yet. Solary going to keep trying to ask some questions, but at the moment it is just questions that they're asking, not really posing any real threat, especially when you've got the power of the crossbar there to help you out as well. Only now, surely gonna make it 4-0, and everything this guy is touching is turning to magic at the moment. In, off the crossbar. Crossbar's helping us out, but not Solary.
I don't have a problem with that, Ian.
I'm not complaining.
Would have been nice, of course, if Tox got that goal. It would have sealed, unfortunately, the fate in that 4th one. The nail in the coffin, truly hammered home, and it's just literally a time-wasting exercise for Wolves Esports. They just need to, frankly, keep the ball away from the net. Sounds so simple, sounds so easy. And you know what? They have made it exactly that. After 3 minutes worth of gameplay, and we have not seen one mistake in Game 3.
No, this is almost flawless at the moment from Wolves. Solary really not sure what to do at the moment, and I'm guessing as that clock keeps ticking down, they're going to feel more and more hopeless. But you know what? Tox is going to get one back, And finally, he's redeemed himself for hitting that crossbar. It's a lovely little pass by Garrett. I think it was a shot, to be fair. But Tox in a great position to follow it up. And he does get a goal, but maybe a bit too little too late.
Very nice to see Wolves Esports being very terrible, giving one goal. They might see a second if Exotic is feeling it. He has probably been Solari's best player, even though Tox had a few killer opportunities themselves. A nice little 1-2. Back they go when Lewis P retreats back. And do you know what? I'm happy to see the goal go against Wolves. And do you know why?
Why?
It just keeps them honest. There's nothing that's going to force them to sort of overextend. It just keeps them playing wise, defensively stable. Because you know what? If it goes 4-2, we've been worrying comeback. Worry Tox! Worry Tox! Uninstall at this point. Where's the defense?
Oli, can you pack it in? 4 goals from 6 shots, and well, I don't know what Tox thought was going to happen there. Perhaps Oli just threw him off the way he came over the ball, but Tox, it's not looking good, man. You just arrived here at Solary. You got to keep that one out. 5-1 now for Wolves, and well, I got to agree with you as well, Danny. You know, they got to stay on their toes. Like, 1 goal against them, maybe a little humbling. You don't want to fall into that trap of going into free play mode, and you got to keep working on the defense. There will be, of course, a round 2, which they'll need to perform in as well. But at the moment, this one's done and dusted. We're just waiting for the fat lady to sing at this point.
We are in Tox's imagination of a world-class player. His chances of maybe becoming a world champion diced into the faint hopes that he knows how to defend too. Absolutely zero chance. And if this performance keeps up for them, no chance as well to qualify. Shame to say it. I know they're coached decently well. Finish will be shouting and barking the orders at them, but Juicy will be surely pleased to see revelations that has come to the Wolves Esports side. They know how to come to play on the biggest stage in the European region, and there we are, 1 goal away from the mighty Brazil.
Well, we would love the meme and get the 7-1, and that would make a statement, of course. And the fact that they're not doing it against just any team. We have to give respect to Solary. Of course, they've not played well here. They're clearly subpar in comparison to Wolves, and Tox, well, I think he's completely given up, and he sort of just put his car in park, and the instant leave sort of tell the whole story here of how dominant Wolves have been. But you just a tiny little bit of respect. So of course they are great players, but Wolves just showing how dominant, how good they are, and how they intend to keep going on today.
It's nice to know to see Tox was able to hit something tonight, and it was the leave button. With that said and done, Wolves Esports dominating, as you say, fabulous to see. And I did see in chat Runnicky, who was, funny enough, Barca's former coach. Now, not the case, now we're at least occasionally staying around that branch. It was 1-1 in that series. We will provide update on this, but we should break down that series, to be fair, Ian, because I came in watching, of course, day 1 and 2 from the wings. Saw Wolves having a few issues defensively. Juicy has clearly been working on it for the last 24 hours, and even to be fair, he has been working a long time behind them. This here looks like a top 10 side in Europe, and I don't say that lightly.
I think they look like a top 8 side. But especially given by the regionals, I mean, we got it on paper. But what you're saying about Wolves defensively and what Juicy has been doing with them, I don't know if maybe that was a strategy in the open qualifiers. Perhaps you're thinking, okay, these are teams we don't know a lot about. Yes, they're going to have individual skill. What we want to do is score as many goals as possible, put the pressure on, don't give them any time on the ball, just show that we are dominant. And I got that impression from Wolves, but it also made me very nervous, because if Wolves would score 6 goals, their opponent would probably score 4 or 5. And all these games were just incredibly stressful to watch, because you think, Wolves, I think you can do better than this. You don't need to concede all these goals. Perhaps that was a strategy, or perhaps just in the space of a couple of days, Juicy has actually managed to turn these guys around to improve them defensively. And you saw the way they were defending here. I think that there was a 3-0 in the series, clean sweep. They scored 11 goals and conceded just 1. 2 days ago, it would not have been like that at all.
I have to agree with you as well, and I do keep an eye, of course, on our supporters in as well. I see the fabulous subpar in HD, of course. Usually the man behind that account is Cole both of those two men actually a part of that fabulous duo is, of course, commentators for the RLC as Axiom, of course, usually does it in Dutch, so clearly talented man that can speak double. And you know what? Double, triple awaits because it looks like Barcelona is the more likely to as well. But chap, do you have any questions to come in at us as well? But oh, I'm looking forward if it's Barca though, Wade.
It's going to be good. I'm sure that when they get in the lobby or when they get into the party, I'm going to pay attention to that chat to see if Rix and Rizix are going to have any words with each other before the game gets underway. And to be honest, I'm also really interested to see, Wolves, it's a new roster. Barcelona, it's a new roster. It's going to be good to see two new rosters go up against each other and try to prove which one is, of course, the better.
Well, should be the better with that small little section as well. So, part let's ask you, Aidan, as well. So, we have got a question for you. Are you a Wolves football fan? Might be a dangerous question.
Ooh, I think this is a. I would say I'm absolutely a Wolves Esports fan, but a Wolves football fan, it would be criminal of me to say so because I've been an Everton supporter my entire life. Now, don't berate me for this. I cannot change history. It is my own tradition that I support Everton since I was very, very small. And probably before most of the people in the chat were born. So we'll leave it at that. And my allegiances in football, I don't have to match up with my allegiances here on the esports channel.
Well, before everybody on chat turns on Aidan, he's been a fabulous star. He's been working extremely hard in the background, of course, making sure you have this fabulous commentary for the last 4 days. So maybe we might be able to turn him into a football fan for Wolves, of course, in the Premiership as well here. And you know what? I believe we might even have a VT on display. A wonderful bit of sponsorship as well, too. You might be interested. We'll see on the quick side of this break, though.
Welcome Tizo.
Welcome Tizo.
Welcome Tizo to our global headphones partner. From here to heart.
Walking on the moon. One moment to escape. Walking on the moon. I've never been. All that trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. All our trouble seems to fade away.
They'll know how we do it. They'll never get it anyway. Conquering the impossible, all with a smile on our face. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. Grind on. too far to say that we cannot pretend now. Was it never enough to have just everything you want? In your shadow I found a place to hide me from my own thoughts. And if I ever got lost, you find a way to bring me home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wolves Esports. We saw quite literally one-sided match only, a 3-0 hammering to Solary. You might go, well, that's strange. Top side team in Europe has been absolutely brushed aside by argumentally Aiden's point, a top 8 side by the last tournament's reasoning. And, well, Aiden, the question is, do you still believe in that comment?
100%. No, I mean, I'm pretty much blown away by Wolves' performance. I have to say, 11-1 is, across the 3 games. It's a fantastic result. You're going to be proud of that. And I think going into this next game against S2V, you're going to be very, very confident. Hopefully, it doesn't get to their heads too much. They don't get complacent. That would be the worst thing for them. But I do think as we head into game 1 of this best of 5, Wolves are going to be coming out strong.
Well, the opening match as well, and as far as I'm aware, and I might be wrong, but it's actually a best of 7s as we move to the round of 2 of the uppers. Will be through the rest of the night, and before we also as well have seen a couple of in chat as well talking about the potential of a Discord ball. And of course the admin team and everything else around to know, but the gameplay as well. Wolves into the orange, S2V, the all-Spanish roster, came through by, of course, their own points and determinations. So they've got here on their own esteem. They didn't have to play the qualifier, so they have luxury to an extent here. They knew who they were going to play against.
Always a luxury to know who you'll be playing. And at the moment, we are all tied up at 0-0 still in the first minute of play. And as we saw against Solary, though, it was similar there as 2 teams try to figure each other out. But it's an opportunity now for Boom. Rix Ronde, a fantastic recovery, just slipping past the attacker. Lewis P there with another clutch save. The Wolves defense not faltering. It is much improved from day 1 and 2 of the open qualifiers. Lewis P now coming back, though, a little bit under pressure from Rubix, and Boom is there for another shot, but not able to find a way through here, S2V. Lewis B now from the ceiling looking for his teammate on the ground, but Boom is now going to take over possession again. Rix Ronde will keep that one wide. Rubik's looking to apply a bit of pressure on Wolves, and he does so very well. Kiabol's able to follow it now. Boom going to boom it to the backboard and now tap it out for Kia Monster. Oli, though, rising to the occasion and going to get it away. It's a bit of a stalemate, but a lot of the play being in the Wolves half at the moment.
Well, Boom there, block. Lewis P just trying to contort the ball. Decent enough here. The problem with the Spanish side, we usually call it bim bam style. It's like your gegenpresser where you just keep on attacking and just make sure it's absolutely awkward. And Ollie, he's actually been manhandled off the ball, quite literally, physically thrown to the side here. He will not like this, and so will Wolves' defence. And Lewis P has just outmaneuvered them so easily, and this should be a tap-in.
Oh no, Oli really isn't in form. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, Oli. That was a tap-in. Well, Lewis P did all the work. Unfortunately, Oli couldn't finish his dinner. Well, this is gonna go to the backboard. Oli whiffing again, and it looks like that miss has gotten to him as he's now made a mistake in defense, and a costly mistake at that, as S2V have been gifted the lead here, and Rubik's going to be very happy with that one. I don't think it's going to get much easier for him all night.
Slightly disappointed in the young man, but Juicy, the coach, probably will be just sitting there trying to calm him down. Give him a bit of confidence, and he will certainly need it. This is the first time Wolves Esports have trailed, and this time by 2.
Well, you gotta respect the play there from Kiamon's intelligent play. Sees Oli the only player on Wolves that's able to get in the way of the shot and defend that. Oli, you know, I guess if it was football, you'd call him a little flat-footed as he looked to make no attempt to get out of the way of the oncoming demo. And it looks like S2B just want to keep this going. They're back on the attack, right in front of the Wolves net following that kickoff. But Rick's now trying to go the other way, get that transition play going, but it only gets played straight to Rubix. He did have a teammate in support, Lewis P now trying to get that challenge on Kia Monster, but Kia Monster coming out top now. The flick is on target, only can't get back. And what has happened to this Wolves defense?
Crumbled to an extent here. This is unusual. This was not the same side that beat Sudley so convincingly. And thankfully, to an extent, best of 7. First of 4 individual games to win this set. It's a strange predicament to an extent here, but time, not necessarily have to panic about. They can have the luxury to lose one, work out where the problems, where the faults are. And right now here, 3-0 down with about 2 minutes, being generous of course there. Ollie, one attack straight down, and it will be Lewis P just maybe to glance at Rick's Ronde, and Super Rixie sets it up, and Lewis P, his Spanish brethren, will be slightly annoyed with him, and there is a chance of a comeback.
Well, 1.5 minutes left in the game. They would need 2 more goals to equalise, so absolutely doable. The Wolves need to keep their heads in check. They've got to try and get a little bit more control of the game and get possession back and start to become a little bit more composed. It's looked a little erratic here in game 1, but as you say, they are able to afford a couple of slip-ups. It is a best of 7, and when it's a best of 7, you do have a little bit more time to understand your opponent, start adapting and trying to find more creative ways to get in behind. Yeah, Monster there just trying to cause some problems. He takes it wide, and I think also just wasting a little bit of time as he takes it from one side to the other as that clock is running down. 1 minute now remaining in the game, and time for Wolves running out to get back in and find an equaliser in game 1 here. Rubik's now going down the other way. Rick's Ronde in the corner, only going to take over and go for the 50 on Kier Monster. Rick's Ronde is there once again, but it looks like they are penned back by S2B at the moment. Lewis P taking the time, the intelligent play, of course, the ones main, very happy to keep that ball close and take on an opponent, but not really able to break through. And, well, only 30 seconds left in the game. It's getting a little dicey here in game 1 for Wolves.
This is not what we expected, but yet again, we've said plenty of times, and this is old school. There was a game long ago, used to be called SARP. The player called Mike Rules used to perfect this when an Irishman like myself here used to be the go-to style of play when front of the net, a tap back right into it in 20 seconds. And there is still a faint bit of hope in the air.
Well, I think Lewis P still had the demo on Oli in the back of his mind when he went for that one. And he said, well, if you guys can do it, I can do it too. And got the finish as well. The time really running out. There's an opportunity for Kiemons and couldn't get it in. Lewis P's going to bang that ball high, and of course, if they can keep the ball up, the game will not end, but they aren't able to do so, and we will lose game 1 3-2. Ended up being quite a close affair, but Wolves just not looking quite as good as they did, of course, in round 1. Perhaps S2V here to surprise us a little bit, as they did come out confidently, getting 3 goals, but Wolves slowly finding their way back into the game, and perhaps given they scored the last 2 goals, they do have a bit of momentum on their side.
Agree with you, both sides will be happily enjoying, and the results did come in for SUV's match against Barcelona. They lost 3-1, so a slight bit of an upset to an extent in terms of that, but best of 7, plenty of time. Nobody needs to worry, they just need to relax, get back into the rhythm. They didn't concede many with Solary. We said it's a humbling experience. Let's see what they can do in game 2.
Oh, it's a quick start. Rick's Ronde looking to get a shot there. Lewis B's going to go up. A bit of an awkward angle for him, but he does manage to put the pressure on. And we're just 10 seconds into the game, and Wolves starting to create some chances, looking aggressive. Oli just about seeing that one away. Lewis B taking it over from Oli in a little bit of an aggressive manner. Says, move out the way. I think I've got a better control of the ball here, but Oli not really looking like he wanted to give it up. Rick's Ronde, though, causing some problems at the back for S2V. Oli's going to get involved as well, but not really anything coming on it. Wolves having a hard time trying to find those infield passes. A lot of the play going down either the left or right side, and no real threat at the moment on either sides.
Sort of stalemate, and always hit that moment when you say no threat. There's always a cheeky one that comes around the corner. Just a shame it goes against us, and Rubik's great little attack, to be fair. Problem is, where's the defenders? They just spread out clearly. Too much thinly. With that said, though, 4 minutes still on the clock. Only conceded one. Was a much more of a bigger deficit last time around here. So Wolves Esports just need to sort themselves out and get one goal to steady the ship. That'd be huge. And this one right across the net. And Rex Ronde will glance at it no more.
I think one thing we've got to take note of is the aggression from S2V. They're looking for like physical plays, they're going for demos, and that organisation that Wolves have had at the back in the last series, they weren't really troubled too much by Solary, as they didn't really play a physical game, only just getting robbed by the post there. But of course, when those physical plays do start to come out, it's very hard to stay organised at the back, as those demos do disrupt a lot. But there will be the equaliser from the captain, Rix Ronde, as Lewis P seeks him out with a snipe of a pass, and this time there's no one back for S2V, and we're all level.
Gorgeous, simple, and it just shows you what to do with one simple bit of team play. And all there, you said early, didn't want to give up the ball. This time a pass for the double. Actually leaves it down for Lewis P. So are they trusting that the one's main that can control the game, the tempo, everything's around? The dynamics has certainly pivoted around by Wolves scoring that singular goal in game 2. And Ollie there, Lewis P, double commit, but won't matter that much. Right back into it, the setup is perfect. Kale with the mistake. Rex Ronde, he had a peach of a shot. Lewis P wide, and Ollie on the opposite side has to scramble back to his final third.
Well, all three of the Wolves players having a go, but that's a fantastic pass by Lewis P. Now he's going to linger in the danger zone. Will he get the beat? No, Rubik's is going to keep that one wide. Wolves looking the more dangerous threat at the moment, and they are managing to keep the ball. The passes are looking good. Another infield pass coming into Lewis P. Lewis P going to play this one up for himself, but he will get beaten by Boom as he booms it down the field. Only again looking for another long seeking pass to the other side of the field, and well, at some point, S2V may wise up to these plays, but at the moment for Wolves looking very good as Rix Ronde is denied by Boom, and Boom has done very, very well to get something on that. Unfortunately, Rix Ronde couldn't just put it either side of the defender, and Wolves, not for a lack of trying, it's still 1-1.
Well, was the fact they are testing the keeper, making sure that they are online, where in the concentration. Lewis P, however, just have to allow his own teammates to take up the play, cannot do everything himself. And Rix Ronde, this is a loose challenge here, works out for the opposition in blue. And Lewis P, pass, Rix, one decent touch back into the middle. Trying to drop it right down. Ollie sees the net, he looks for it. Rix wanted for the bump. Lewis P coming around, will he be needed? Yes, he does, and the Wolves keep on hurling.
Oh, the anticipation from Lewis P. And again, this is something that we saw from Wolves in the open qualifiers, that ability or that confidence to go up, push up with 3 players and just go for the goal. They took the risk. It was well worth it. A well-earned goal, and Lewis P, take a bow, because he read that play phenomenally well, and the reactions to go with it to get the go-ahead goal. And now perhaps a third is only set up by Lewis P again. Kia Monster will get it cleared out to the right side where Lewis P is waiting, comes back into the midfield again. A little bit of a scrap in the midfield for possession. S2V will get control of it though, as Kia Monster looks to get something set up on the other side. It's a bit of an awkward touch by Rix, but no real pressure coming from S2V this time. Finds Oli on the left side, and he just bangs it downfield. Lewis P not going to be able to follow that one. A little bit of ping pong Rocket League coming out here, but Oli doing the same again, looking for Rix this time. And Kia Monster was not too worried about Rix coming across. He was always going to be first to that ball. Oli going to chop it forward again for Rix Ronde, but this midfield scrap is starting to perhaps frustrate both teams as they're having a hard time to find a way through.
Well, when this amount of space pressure, You're just almost wanting a mistake to occur, especially if you're chasing. STV is trying to stretch Wolves far too thin, but they've been matched each time, and that's just a perfect setup. Nobody in the middle, but Kiermonster off the line, still there. Lewis P once more, demo on Rick's Ronde. S2V wants bodies, they want demos, and there's ices on the pitch, but will it be? And sadly not, no little flourish for Rick's Ronde. The clock still up in the air, as Ian has said before. Ball still up, game still active, and this will be one apiece.
I've got to, show some admiration for the way Wolves very quickly adapted in this game. We saw in game 1 where they were trying a similar strategy that they had against Solary, with sort of 2 men on the halfway line, those full rotations. And as soon as these physical plays started coming out, the demos taking defenders out, they noticed we need to play quicker. We can't stop moving. We need to keep the cars on the roll, because if we stop for too long, the demos will come. And then they started those half rotations again. They got 3 people in the box for the winning goal with Lewis P. And I think that the speed that they then came into playing was what allowed them a little bit more time. And in the end, Wolves were the ones getting some demos towards the end of the game. It was a really good adaptation. I feel that, they saw the quality of STV, saw the problems they were posing, and found a way to overcome it.
I have to agree with you. Statistics will also back you up there as well. And as Juicy said in our chance, actually, Wolves Esports' coach as well. Only 1 shot on target. Will they have one more go at net here? At least take themselves back in the lead, or will Wolves do what they've been doing all night long? And that score, they dictate as well. And we will be sadly remaking the lobby as a very strange bug has occurred, where the bots respond, and, well, literally the nameplate is across with that slight bit of tampering with technology as well being the issue. One apiece if anybody is joining in. I must say, STV, I'm usually quite critical on teams. This was a side that's deeply improved compared to the regional performance, which was sort of the last big event, shall we say. To anybody, of course, not new to the esports, think like the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, or your regional sort of tournaments, of course, and moving into it. This is where STV faltered, where Wolves got 8th, as we said before. Decent performances, but STV much more improved.
Oh, definitely. I think that going into this, I looked back at some of STV's games and thought they've not really been showing too much, and I don't think it would be too much of a threat for Wolves. But as you say, they've improved. They're coming a long way, and clearly, sometimes it just takes time for a team to start gelling and to start finding their groove. But it's a good start for them against Wolves. Now, Wolves do have a game back. It is 1 apiece. And we are going to remake the lobby. Hopefully, we're going to soon see how this series plays out as soon as they get it fixed out. But I felt like Bot Viper was feeling his chances of making it into the grid himself.
Well, it should be interesting as well in the grid's performance. If they do get into the main stage, will be joining the big names in Europe. Ian has said quite clearly they are top 8 potential quality. They will be facing off some of the dangers that is the major champions, of course, if you think like the Champions League Cup or the World Cup, depending on which one you rate higher. BDS will wait them. Oxygen Esports team, Liquid Vitality. There's plenty of big names there, but they've got, of course, to beat SUV here and now to get into that competition, what they're playing for, and we'll hopefully see 8 follows broadcasts here on Wolves Esports. You can, of course, follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube, respectively, and harbour a goal for everybody to look at and say, yep, I'm doing that right now.
Well, once again, Wolves going for that sort of hyper-aggressive, all-out of attack style, and it's paid off once again. They get 1-0 very, very early on, and I think so far in game 1 and 2, we had to wait quite a while for a first goal, and the first goal is coming for S2V, and Wolves having to fight their way back into the game. This time, Wolves take the lead first, and they'll be able to control the pace of the game. Or maybe not.
Shall we just pretend that never happened?
We don't talk about it.
Fair enough. 30 minutes. We will see the winner, but 30 seconds have gone and we'll just say it's 0-0. Bit of an early mishap from either side, and Rubik's looking to maybe cause a bit of pain. Lewis P, however, band-aid there on defence, moves down. Rex Ronde already went pace. He's gone for the demo. He's bullying them. He's like a schoolyard bully, asking for the pocket money and says, do you have a credit card too?
You could just see what's going through Boom's head. Just no, 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 no. Nothing he could do to get away from Rix. Rix was fully on the scent, on the trail. He had one thing in mind, and it was, well, Boom. And it is going to be Wolves who take the lead again. 2-1 now, and maybe 3-1. Lewis P denied by Rubik's, and that was another fantastic play. All three players getting involved on attack now, dropping off, allowing a bit of space in the midfield. Got to be careful though, can't allow them too much time on the ball. Monster is able to put it into a danger area. Now the double commit coming up from Lewis and Ole. And now Lewis is left alone to deal with the pass from Monster, and it is a great read of the play to get away of the shot of Rubik's. Lewis P doing incredibly well on his own, defending for Wolves up against two players. Always a very, very difficult situation to be in, those 2v1s, but he's come out on top, and Wolves now going to look to try and play it from the back. Rix Ronde taking it down the wing, but not really able to play it infield. Lewis P close enough to get involved though, and will keep up the play. Rubik's trying to play it away. Now Rix Ronde taking possession again to the corner. That's coming in field, but not quite able to find that last pass.
It's just amazing what these players can do. The movement of these analog sticks are getting some work out right now, and concentration of Wolves, they're not superb. They're not letting these foolish mistakes or biting, because the bait by S2V, one of the best again in Europe. Very rarely do I ever give compliments to the opposition. And Ollie right now blocks moves, half time slowly approaching here. Lewis P's done well. Ricochets off the backboard, so downfield it goes. There's everybody to grab a bit of boost, able to do some wonders. And a back pass to Rex Ronde. He'll go for the follow. Actually, the opposition here not passed it to him. Quite generous, I thought.
Well, just a little bit of charity. Sometimes you've got to make friends out there. It's a small world, the pro RL scene, and well, maybe a little bit too much charity as Monster has now made it level, and this series is proving to be a very close one. Monster rises very quickly, puts it in the back of the net, and it's 2:22 on the clock, and it's 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Well, the Ducks are out. Sadly, the Wolf is a bit hungry here. He wants his supper, and Rex Ronde just wants to qualify quite here and right now too. And Lewis P waits patiently, hope for the bounce and a skip alongside it there by Monster. Doesn't really work beneficial to him, and Lewis P not advantageous here, but the clearance bad. Lewis P, excellent demo, shot at the keeper, and Rex Ronde, well, he's not the janitor here, he cannot get that one through.
Well, Ole maybe had a little bit more time as he sped up towards that ball and ended up just putting it directly onto the defender on the net. And as the other side of the goal was begging, Rix Ronde now in the midfield, popping out for Ole. He will get it over Monster, looking to get the follow. Can he get the drop down? Rubik's in the way, but Lewis P surely to push it over the line. And the score now 3-1, Wolves taking the lead. And Lewis P, he is the fox in the box. He loves hanging around that area to finish off the moves.
Absolutely. Just sit there, and it requires 2 or 3 bodies to require to block it. Call it soccer, call it football, whatever you want to, but that was almost like a rugby pitch where everybody was getting into sort of the hustle. And Ollie there just moving downfield, blocked it goes, and Boom's had enough here. Has S2V find a mission plan here, something to activate, and so far, no. Good block though by them, and defence by Wolves need to be stellar here, bumped by Boom, and Rubik's one touch back into the middle here, and that's, I'll be honest with you, one of the sloppiest passes I've seen over 5 years worth of commentary.
Oh, S2V just giving up possession. They didn't want it there for a moment, but Rubik's not getting to be on Rix Ronde, but Rix Ronde gets back around, recovers very well, gets in the way of the shot. Wolves, at the moment, seems like they're in a little bit of a damage control mode. They're under a bit of an onslaught there, but they do clear it away. And Wolves looking to hold on to this lead as they've only got a 1-goal lead. Only will get a demo on Kiermonson, but it's not going to do much as Boom gets the shot away. Rick Saronde well poised to take care of it, keep the danger away, but Rubik's going to continue the pressure for S2V. Lewis B on that backboard. He can't clear it far, but it does come to Rick's Ronde, who gets the 50 in the air. Only now 50 again with Rubik's. Rick's Ronde now playing it in with Lewis, but he couldn't get on the end of it, and now it could be dangerous as the net is open, but Boom has made a meal of it, and that would have been the time to equalise for S2V. They've still got a couple of seconds, but it's looking unlikely now, and Boom is going to have his head in his hands for this one.
I've been waiting to say this for a while, but I could have scored that, Aiden could have scored that, and all of you in chat could have scored that one. Huge miss, huge key opportunity as well. And Wolves Esports will be grateful to see it go wide. 3-2, of course, a race to 4 on the night. And with that said, though, Aiden, Wolves, they were looking a little bit iffy, but they have regained themselves and looking much more stable like their first series performance.
Fairly more stable. S2V are taking the game to them. Wolves looking at a slightly more comfortable in defense this time. Not too bothered by the physical play from S2V, or at least not allowing it to happen quite as much. And Wolves do take the lead in the series now 2-1. They need to continue this momentum. It's a long series. It's a best of 7. Still need to win 2 more games if they want to win the series. But at the moment, looking good. But all games remaining very, very close. And will they get the go-ahead goal very early on again? They got it last time, and it was clearly a good omen as they went on to win the game, but they were denied it this time. And Boom down the other end, denied by Lewis P. A bit of a fiery start to the game here.
Would have been a perfect start, and it seems to be a little pattern developed. First goal usually dictates it. Near enough winning it too, and that pass by Rick just needed a little bit more further. Boom has took it all the way down, no boost, so his options are limited. But Wolves are smart enough to know one small misstep, and they'll concede here. The opening minute has been a stalemate. We said that one before, and Rubik's blocked out by the captain from Wolves, and Killmonster has a go, blocked again, and all of the team are doing their defensive duties here. They're not just goal machines, they want to do the job, and Juicy will be proud of his men on the pitch.
Well, Rix was looking very aggressive on that goal line there, just looking for demos, looking to cause and wreak some havoc at the back for S2V. But I think he also forgot a little bit about the ball, thought, well, maybe I should just go for those demos when my teammate actually has the ball. But it's okay, we'll allow it. But this now is a little unfortunate down the other side, as Rix was not able to avoid the demo, and Boom doing what he does best, exploding, and this time not missing the open net.
Well, sometimes it will go into your favour, but credit to them, they have been chasing a goal and they've just gained it back. And Rick's Ronde, Ollie should have been 1-0 touch earlier. Lewis P. Well, just took that one safety. 90 seconds, usually a telling mark in this game. How each individual game will go. And Rick's Ronde past Lewis P. Was waiting on the flank there, waiting. Sadly, the ball has not been received just yet, and they'll go again. Lewis P. Maybe a better pass to the captain this time. No, we had seen these Quark right on target, but with 2 minutes gone here, they're still chasing their 1 goal here.
S2V looking worryingly comfortable at the back. They're dealing with a lot of the pressure from Wolves at the moment as time is ticking on. But still 3 minutes to play. Wolves will be looking to get that equaliser soon. It's a nice bit of control from Lewis P. That's going to fall for Ole. Boom gets in the way, and Boom really been doing bits for S2V here in this game. Lewis P, though, taking over possession of the midfield could become something dangerous as Ole is able to follow it up. He's got Rix in support in the midfield. Lewis looking for bumps, but Ole not really doing anything with the ball. But there's 50. Sometimes you can make something out of nothing, but unfortunately it did once again turn into nothing.
A bit of magic turns into just that time, and a few bodies along the way after those 50, and Lewis P blocked his shot here, and well, has Wolves had a bit of communication error there, but they'll reset hopefully. 2 minutes now. Boom It's crossed the halfway line, down into Wolves' final third, been taken out at the play, but Rix Ronde, but a careful decision making here required. Don't want to overextend, make the job difficult and concede. This 1-0 lead is very fragile. S2V knows that as well, and this consecutive barrage of attacks here from them could become difficult for Wolves, but finally a little pinch over to Ollie, and Rix Ronde will be happy to see his teammate picked up his small mistake.
Well, S2V doing very, very well to defend under low boost. A long period of time which Wolves kept the pressure up, and the thing is, Wolves with their half rotations aren't always getting the mid boost, and S2V were able to get out and sort of recollect themselves. Wolves looking to pile on the pressure again, create that onslaught once more, can only force it over. Rix Ronde looked like he was maybe in the way of that. Lewis P, can he finish? No! Can't keep it down. Boom is going to get up and get it wide. Rix Ronde's there again. Lewis P remains with the play, drops it down. Couldn't get much on it. Not a lot of boost in the tank. Oli will take possession. He finds Rix. Rix going to take a bit of time. It's a great demo, and that leaves the open net, and Rix Ronde does not miss these.
Just poetry in action there. Perfect demo. A bit of time for SUV here to go to A&E, because right now there is a job to be done here, and they're walking around with a broken ankle. That's the way it seems to be happening. And Rix Ronde shot wide, however, Lewis P on the other side. Just one of those issues. Do you go for the pass or shot? Caught in between two mindsets there. They will drop all the way back. Just make sure his two teammates has options, of course, once his play develops. Here's by S2V. Wonderful save. Rix Ronde already up. No shot comes this time. 30 seconds. We could head into OT. It's our golden goal scenario. And Lewis P, this is wonderful. This little movement up to the field here. Each yardage will be perfect, of course. 10 seconds. And will Wolves nick the stealer?
Well, only with a flick just saved by Rubix. Time counting down. Wolves got them under siege here. Ole looking to put some pressure on Kier Monster, going for that 50. Will get it back to Rix Ronde. Goes over to the other side. That ball's going to bounce back up. That will go to the middle. Ole's up first. Gets it past Rubix, but he couldn't get it on target. Denied by the post, and we will see it into overtime.
I haven't seen many of these, and hopefully it'll go in the shade of orange. But the explosion against Boom, and the man in question just trying to wiggle his way through the Wolves side themselves here. And Lewis P's been bumped and hassled by Kier Monster. He's just almost sitting underneath, trying to cause hassle on both sides here, playing far too fast here, and uncharacteristic mistakes here. So somebody's going to take charge here, and it looks like it will be Wolves.
Wow, that's a lovely little piece of play from Lewis. Just a naughty little dink over Rix Ronde. Fortunately, two players on the net, and they did manage to get in the way of the shot. Not too much venom on the shot itself. Rix Ronde, though, will get it past Kier Monster. There's one man on it. It's Rubix, and Rix Ronde is going to go flying into that 50-50. Lewis B out on the other side. Oli demoed behind him. They've got to make sure they don't lose possession here. Got to keep that pressure on. Rix Ronde playing it into the middle. Lewis B there for the 50 again. Kier Monster feeling the pressure. Looks a little panicky at the back for S2V. Boom looking for the demo on Rix. Rix managing to jump early and avoid it. And now Lewis looking for a bit of control. He's going to lob that one forward. Oli's up as well. Rubix comes out on top. Just Rix back, and always risky when you just got the one player back. He looks for Oli on the wall. Didn't quite find him. And, well, this is a very heated overtime. Both these teams playing at, well, probably their limits in terms of speed. And Rubix looking to get out to the backboard. It's going to drop down, but it's going to be comfortable for Oli. Now, possession switching from one side to the other. Neither team finding a way through.
Well, the speed's going to be relative at the moment. So will this goal eluding both sides here? They will be looking for one small mistake, just out of position by half a pixel or two. And you've seen that ball being slotted in earlier. STV was expertly done it against Wolves. This time they may have learned here. This one to the glancing side. Brilliant save, the counter. Snifled right out, and Rix Ronde, you just seen a gulp from him. That one went wide. 2 minutes against the clock here, and there's additional time. We're just waiting on who will actually grab the chance when it appears him. S2V cannot do it. Will Lewis P can?
Well, S2V coming very, very close to that golden goal there. Only just creeping into that back row to keep it away. That's going to be dangerous. Rix Ronde able to get the shot away, but once again, not enough power or direction on the shot. Straight into the middle. Too easy for the defender to save. And it's looking a little panicky at the back. Rix Ronde's going to play that wide. Boom. Going for the 50 on Rix. Rix, no problem for him. Going for the slow play, trying to play that over Rubik's. And Rubik's will play back over to Boom. Doesn't need Boom to touch it. Will keep going himself. Rix Ronde now trying to control. It's a long lob. He sees the defenders. No one on the net. But Rubik's does get back in time. And, well, it's looking less and less composed from both teams. It's becoming very, very erratic. Only, though, gets played by Lewis B. And just as I say, it's getting erratic. They're not looking so composed. Look at this pass from Lewis B. And the awareness from Oli for the quick turn to send it into the net and take the game for Wolves.
Oh, that was fabulous. That was just simply wonderful. Just moves across here and I'm reading chat as it goes along here. And you know what, there's a right apt description of Ollie is almost like the mafia, just sits there and hits his target, and frankly, when he does that there, well, let's just say his execution on the opposition has been truly felt. If this was the last round, we would have been done, dusted, and the job done. Best of 7, a race to 4, 3-1 in the series. And Aidan, haven't asked this question and won't ask what you might be thinking. Is S2V likely to come back though?
I mean, if we look at the stats in the game, we can see that Wolves have the majority of possession and majority of shooting opportunities. S2V, they're a very hard team to break down. They're very comfortable on the net, and every now and then you see Rix, Luis, and Oli looking for demos on the back line, but not quite able to get there. I think that S2V have fantastic awareness, great position and anticipation for the shots, and sometimes the Wolves attack just lacking that little bit of spice for, you know, the finish or that last pass. So having a lot of shots, not a lot of goals to go with it, and every game has remained close. And I think it's, even though Wolves are up onto match point, too early to call this series.
Well, that said, this very much a crucial game in terms of the context. One win for Wolves from here on now. It is the grid in chat. Everybody as well. Let's get the Wolves spam going. Get your favourite chant, and will Super Rixie defend this one? He'll require his teammates to get the assist going. They'll of course play from their back final third, and S2V are throwing themselves at the ball, darting to any chance they have, and boom! Just trying to fake out the defender, doesn't happen. The pass not good, Rubik's mistake. Ollie, he sees his own teammate, the side calls him into the play. No boost because of it. And suddenly with that there, Lewis P has he been activated.
Well, that was almost ridiculous from Lewis. The control he has to stay with the ball. Oli, well, almost an open net for him. Kier Monster recovers in time to get the save. And again, as I said earlier, S2V hard team to break down. Every time you look like scoring, they manage to scramble back. They manage to get something on the ball. Oli playing it over to Rix. A little bit too close to Boom, though, as he booms it away to the backboard, where Lewis P tries to take control of possession. Will bump Kier off of it. Rubik's to the backboard again. Kier's up. The demo on Oli could be starting to become dangerous, but no one really to challenge, as Kier Moz has to go over himself to collect that one. And S2V sitting deep for this one. Boom, going high for this one, onto the ceiling. It's ambitious, but ambition almost paying off. Rix Ronde just parking himself on the line for the save. S2V, well, they know they need to win. They cannot afford to lose any more games, and they're playing like they want it. But Wolves, I'm sure, have another idea.
Lewis P, he's been a creative magician up front here. He has been stellar defensively, and right now, Boom is just trying to tinker here. Just been beaten away by the Wolves captain here. Net looking very much exposed. S2V might just feel the wrath of Rix Ronde. Ollie's up, Lewis P is up. All of them jumping at this ball with some vigor. The youth of these men just showing absolutely why they're dominating. And Lewis P once more taking control from the left-hand side. S2V feeling smarted at the moment. And Ollie once more. Quick shots here. S2V might need a guide of how to get away from Wolverhampton.
Well, still all tied up, 0-0. Half the game gone. Oli going up in the midfield, blocked by Rubik's. Rix is there again. Wolves trying to pile on the pressure here. Boom, trying to get it away from Lewis P, but Lewis P will get a block on it. Rubik's now challenged very quickly by Oli. He threw himself into that one. He will air dribble it from the wall onto the backboard. Rix Ronde is there, but he's got his back to the ball, so Rubik's will, for the time being, be able to clear this one away, but Rix Ronde demoing him, and it shows what Rix thought of S2V getting a bit of time on the ball, punishing his opponent. Rix will keep this one wide. A little dangerous, Lewis B getting involved to try and get it away, but it falls straight for Rubik's. But no real dangerous shot there as Lewis B takes control of the play. And still both teams trying to find that ever-eluding goal to take the lead in this game.
Still, and keeps on eluding in S2V. Shooting accuracy must be absolutely abysmal. They will get Lady looked. Fortune will favour the Braves sometime at this point here. Must be blindfolded because this one just walks on in and there's no good reason for it either.
Well, S2V looking a little different here in this game than in the previous one. Previous one they were sat back and penned back by Wolves for the large portions of the game. But here, shots rather equal and S2V having their fair share of possession. Wolves will now need to come back from behind. Well, they've done it before in this series, but it's never a place you want to be. It's a little bit of a handicap, and also with 4 minutes already played, they've only got a minute to do so. Of course, if they do lose this game, they will have 2 more chances to win the series, but don't want to drop it now. You want to keep the momentum going. You want to close it off now, because you lose one, you start to feel the sweat, the weight on the shoulders, the pressure starts to rise. Lewis P, though, with a shot just wide. Ronde coming in, that's going to go to the backboard. Lewis P up very quickly. Can he beat Kier? Looking for the double. Great control, but 2 players on the net again. S2V so hard to break down.
Also maybe also close, and Lewis P will find his teammate from the left, trying to get the sniper right across. Rix Ronde pre-jumps. He's actually got it, and boom, Tikia. Suddenly Wolves now feeling that S2V's got that right in and all it. Well, this is a bit awkward, isn't it?
Oli is the imposter confirmed. I think he's still playing RL Mafia. Well, 2 goals down. I think it might be a case that at this point in the series, S2V literally have nothing to lose. They lose the game, where they'll drop back down to the lower bracket and still get another chance. And they'll probably say to each other, let's just throw everything at Wolves, try and get a game out of this and see where we can take the series. But they will get a game back, and as I said at the beginning of this game, it's too early to call this series.
I would agree with you there, and of course, as you've seen in the chat as well, happily mention it's still 2-3. Of course, if you're from the S2V perspective, Wolves 1 game away, the best of 7. They've got 2 chances as well. You mentioned in perfectly well. The weight on these players' shoulders grows bigger and bigger with every game that goes by. And next time, they might not have that option. You want to close it out now. And Juicy, we know him deeply well, will be in the comms right now. Just finish it out, do what's been working well, pass it away. But some of those shots, they haven't been as crisp as they have been earlier. So with that said, though, let's see if they can fix it up.
You can imagine what it's like when they went on to match point, when it was 3-1. Probably a lot of the things that they would have said in the voice comms was just 1 more game. And I think that sometimes that stresses people out. It's like, yes, just 1 more, but that then puts this expectation of, well, it is only 1 game. There's no way we could throw. And I think it's always something that's going to linger in the back of your mind. It's sort of festering there, and now they've dropped a game. It could hurt their mentality a little bit, their confidence. Hopefully Juicy keeping them in positive spirits. There's Ole there going up against Boom. It's going to come back into the ball where Boom is offered the chance to shoot. Lewis popping that one up straight in front of his own net. But Ole finding Rix, perhaps denied by Boom. And, well, S2V contesting the midfield, but sitting back with 2 players. It's a very defensive start for them. Last game, they went out sort of all guns blazing.
So the opening minute gone, and well, Blazing usually follows trails, and Ollie has just seen 2 very much crucial demos in earlier this moment. Right now, Wolves had to play defensive after all the work on the counter. Good build-up originally. Now Ricks from the same side just have to play the ball. Suddenly Lewis is up, beaten however, and SUV back again. They look like they want to throw everything at it. They have been doing it time and time again. This one slips on by, but it's only one, not time to panic.
Well, this was a great read by Oli, necessary as well. No chance Ricks was getting to that, but Lewis also taking a long time to get back to his net. And that is going to be the 1-0 for S2V. They take the lead again. Wolves are trailing, I think, for the 4th time in this series. They, of course, are winning 3-2 in the series itself. They need one more game. And S2V need this one and then potentially the next one. Kier Monster trying to get a beat on Rick's Ronde. It almost taps it in. Boom is dead. It's a crossbar again. And S2V, second goal to double their lead. Get that bit of cushion. Just eluding them there for a little while. And Boom now just taking his time here, playing the mind games with Lewis as he goes flying into the challenge. And, well, S2V seem to be a little unpredictable at the moment.
That's that sort of unpredictable factor that has worked well, to be fair, for them. And Wolves will be, I wouldn't say not accustomed to this sort of play style. You'll see sort of the lower ranked teams throw it just to make life awkward. And Rick's Ronde's interballistic missile off the crossbar dented it. There will be a charity donation for it later, but this goal here ties it things up. An equaliser, no more, no greater at the time required.
Well, I think Oli's just learned how to use a protractor between the two games because that angle was ridiculous. And Oli now looking to fake out what does get the fake. Boom was quick to react. Did manage to get the save. Rick's trying to drop this one down. Oli's still with him. Rick's going to pinch it off the wall. Oli came a little close to Rick's there. I think sometimes the spacing on Wolves is just the thing that gets a bit awkward for them. Lewis P air dribbling at speed. It was looking dangerous. Ricks is up quickly. Can he drop it down the crossbar and out? Oli trying to slip it under Kier Monster. Lewis P will keep the pressure on. It's not on target. Now Rubik's will try to air dribble it away. Rick's Ronde having some other ideas. It's going to fall for Lewis P. Plays it to the backboard. Oli's with him. Lewis P going for glory by himself with the double. And Wolves looking a little bit more dangerous all of a sudden.
Hopefully the potency can keep on continuing here. And Lewis right over to Ricks. We just need one man to come back into it, and Lewis wants a second bite at the cherry. A little bit greedy, shall we say, but if it keeps on the attack, why not? Oli up this time around. He's been awfully quiet in that little phase of play. Lewis P will go solo with an air dribble. Oli's with all the bump, all the pressure, and Venom has almost turned into snake bite at that point, and the poison running through S2V at the moment. Rick's Ronde, Schnuller shot wide, blasting, blunder, and S2V just sitting there swantering in sweat at the moment. What can happen? And Oli needs to defend at this point. All the excitement, just maybe a rush to the brain too quickly there.
I'm sorry, but Lewis P, I mean, he must have felt a little bit of depression as his air dribble into the flip reset was saved. What a save it was. And S2V, you know, they're defending with their lives. They do not want to lose here. You can see how much they want it. They are playing so intensely, and Wolves, they're starting to string together passes again. They're starting to look dangerous on attack, but S2V, it's that passion that is keeping them at 1-1 as Wolves really trying everything in their lock. It's a bit of a mix-up here in defence. Lewis P only just getting the block, and it's a very good recovery for him as Rick's Ronde was nowhere to be seen, and neither was Oli, but now Oli on the attack. Can't get it past Rubik's. Oli will get demoed. That will relieve some pressure on S2V for the time being, but only for the time being as Lewis going with that 50 in the corner. Oli taking control of possession, but Rubik's reading the touch well. Boom. Can't get it away from Lewis P, who defends his backboard very well. Oli now trying to set up Lewis P with 10 seconds left on the clock. Can they avoid the overtime? Rick's running up quickly, but Boom's going to go down the other end. Bit's a bit open. Oli will drop it down, but the ball remains in the air. Boom for the follow. Lewis P will push it to the floor and take the overtime. And he says, thank you very much. We will take this overtime.
Well, we will see it, but I want to see the chat also get involved too. I want to see the Super Rixie to support the captain. There was one man down. Shouldn't doubt the team. You should trust the captain of the ship once more to the second run. and S2V with some kind of magic force field repels that ball away. That should have been sunk home, and S2V should have been sunk to the Lords at that point.
Wolves have had their fair share of chances. They have really had some fantastic opportunities, and whether it's S2V in the way or whether it's the post and the crossbar, they're just not finding a winner, but they could. Now Riggs running again to the crossbar. Lewis P, very, very intelligent of him to pass that one, and it will go into the back of the net. Only makes it 2-1 in overtime, and that will send Wolves into the grid.
After 4 days, 3 of competitive, 1 day of rest, the team compiles of Lewis P. Ollie, the captain Rick Ronde, Duck Moriarty, and the coach as well, Chusey, sitting there, probably celebrating. Well, let's just say it's best that there will be a few parties tonight in their respective houses, but Aidan, we were not going to predict the win. We want to see it on our screens. The action spoke for itself, and you know what? Wolves were just one of the best teams in Europe, probably maybe the best, but maybe chat might disagree on that one. Let's see what they say on that one. But Aidan, quick summary on that.
A very intense series from start to finish, and you see two teams trying to remain unpredictable. I think Wolves sticking to their game plan a little more than S2V. S2V, you saw them early in the series, game 1 and 2, looking for physical plays, looking for the demos, and that was the moment that Wolves stepped up the speed to avoid it. And at that point, it became very, very erratic. Both teams playing quick. It was quite forced. I think Wolves, the reason why they win the series is they managed to maintain just a little bit more composure. S2V, all credit to them. Incredibly hard to break down, and you see things, individual plays coming out from Lewis P, you see individual plays coming out from Oli, from Ricks. They're not able to find a way through. You then see the passing plays getting denied by the post, the crossbar, or all by S2V. And in the end of the day, it was Wolves had more chances and therefore more opportunities to score, and score they did, albeit in overtime, and it started to get a little sweaty, but Wolves make it through, and you love to see it.
Love to see it, and I know a particular man who will love to see it as well too. 2 times champion of Gfinity as well. Your captain is a Mr. Rix Ronde. Welcome to the casting booth, and from Aidan and everybody else as well, congratulations on qualification.
Let's go. Oh.
We've got to ask here, when you went into that series there, you just swept Solry, who were, and I'm not going to try to leak information out, one manager behind the scenes, a top 6 side in Europe. I don't believe that. It must have felt good thrashing them.
Oh, it felt so good to beat Solry. Of course, Solry was an RLCS team. They now added Toxin, so for me at least, I thought on paper that is such a strong team and such a tough matchup. But then to just come out on top like 3-0, like Oli was popping, Lewis was playing great. That was an awesome series to be a part of.
I mean, you could see it as well in the Solry players. They just looked deflated in that game 3, and I think Tox gave up a little earlier, so a few seconds left on the clock. He said, you know what? I'm putting down my controller. I'm going probably for a bath and just to reconsider and rethink what just happened there. But how good does it feel right now, Riggs? How was the atmosphere in the chat, in the voice comms? How much noise was made? Did anyone's microphone blow up?
So loud, like it's unbelievable for me, because obviously I was in the grid last season because I joined 2 people, and I was like, it just looks like near impossible to actually qualify for the grid, like straight up. It's so difficult. You have to go through all these qualifiers. You can't lose your games. But we went out to do it, like that's unbelievable. I'm so hyped to play in the grid again. It's gonna be so good. Oh my god.
Well, you say looking forward to the grid as well, of course. I'm not going to say anything, but anybody in the chat as well who has been part of the broadcast, don't forget to follow, because that means there will be 8 consecutive streams as well from, of course, Wolves Esports, so dates and time on the Twitter as well. But Rix, you talked about being in the grid. You joined the team. Sadly, we're eliminated through it, and my apologies from Team Liquid on that one. but you rejoin it back, and we're just getting slowly word coming through that Dignitas has rejoined. Rixie G look likely, Team Quaso too. I mean, some of these teams here are knocking out people who has never or has been in the grid but can't get back into it. For you, does this just prove that people were wrong about you, Rix? Because a lot of people had doubts on you.
For sure, like it feels so good to prove everyone wrong. I know there's a lot of people saying like, Rix, you're always getting carried, you don't deserve it. And then here I am. I always come back. How do I always come back? Like for real. So proud of myself for that.
Well, there's a lot of support for you in the chat as well, Rix. I'm sure you're aware of how it gets.
Yeah.
You know? We had the same with Libertas as well, and you've got your own little chant, so always feels good. But of course, you know, just looking back on these games that you played today, Solar, a huge win. You know, that was very, very comfortable. Then you went into S2V. When you heard you were playing S2V, was that expected, or did you feel like was that surprising? And were you a bit disappointed to not play against Rizex?
Well, to be fair, Barca is a team that can be upset, I think, especially by a team like S2V. S2V is like, they play really, I'm not sure how you say it, like unexpected. They do things you don't expect. They challenge balls where you're like, why are you going for that? But you just gotta be ready for that. So I was expecting Barca, but I was not surprised if S2V was gonna win.
It sounded like you described S2V as if they were champ 2.
No. S2V, like, I don't know, especially because this is a high pressure match. Like everyone is feeling that pressure. I think they played really good. I was not expecting them to like be that good that they played right now. Like props to them for sure.
Sure.
Well, great to see, and as your captain, Rix Ronde, humble as he is, winning and losing, I've had the honour of casting you plenty of times. Rix, I'm sitting here stunned because I was sort of going, this might be a 4-0 here, but mind you. But that said, a result nonetheless, a 4-1 against S2V here. Any last shout-outs before we say goodbye to you for the time being, and hopefully we'll see you back on this channel and maybe even on the RLCS X.
I want to shout out everyone that's supporting me, the team, but I also want to give a shout out to the social media team of Wolves, to the people in Wolves supporting us. It's been such a great ride so far. Like, dreams really do come true with this organization so far. It's been amazing to be a part of. So once more, thanks everyone for supporting us. Appreciate it.
Well, lovely words from our captain, Rix Ronde, who are simply an unstoppable force. When they want to win, they simply do win. And Ian, we have seen Juicy and Doug Murray celebrate in our chat as well. They are relieved to see all the hard work pay off. Paul Shepherd, funny enough, fabulous broadcaster, on 3 days of work to produce this stream here. I've never seen the man celebrate as much, because it just shows you the passion, the care, the love everybody as well. And you know what? I hope everybody drops a follow, subscribe even on YouTube, and gets behind the team, of course, on Twitter too, through that social media, which Rix Ronde just, funny enough, mentioned as well. So it's at Wolves Esports. But Ian, what a night this has been.
Well, it's been incredibly exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking, especially, you know, having all that work in the open qualifiers, a lot of series, especially played on Tuesday, and you know, you start to worry, like, is it all going to be for nothing, or are we going to make it through? And well, we made it through. It proved a lot of people wrong. I know a lot of people doubting this Wolves Esports roster, but I think they'll have learned their lesson at this point. They got top 8 in regional, and now here they are going into the grid.
Well, a huge congratulations to them. They will be facing off some of the biggest teams in Europe. And just to give you a flavour of who they are as well, Team BDS major champions, of course, Renault Vitality world champions too. Plenty of trouble waits for them, but they are surely equipped. They have played the best from the open, the closed qualifiers, even former teams of the grid. But with that said, though, that does mean the end of the broadcast, sadly. And before we do, we also want to at least thank out Digital Bacon, who did cover 2 of the broadcast. Sadly, couldn't be here due to commitments, and I'm guessing he will be shedding a tear once we see the results.
I'm sure he'll be very, very happy. And Just to just to put it out there as well, Oli, if you're still listening or watching this one right now, we didn't really think you were completely out of form.
Well, with that said, will Ollie even show us, is he better than maybe the legs of speed? Fruity, Alpha 54, some of the biggest, well, teams and players in the scene, well, they will be going and do battle with him. But from Aidan, from Paul, from myself as well, we have enjoyed the broadcast night. Hope you have as well too. And until next time, good night.
I think I need therapy or just some more whiskey. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead.